Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the long and short. This is Maestro. Let's go ahead and dive into these markets. First, though, I do want to let you guys know that more towards the end of the video, we're going to show you something that I think helps me develop an edge. Don't worry, it's not an indicator. I'm not here to sell you a mentorship or anything of that nature. I am here to show you how I develop my edge. Before we get into that, I'm going to dive into these charts and show you that essentially Bitcoin itself has been trading in a very consolidated tight range, pretty much from 52,000 to 46,000 over the course of December. All right, so this was pretty much the entire month of December. This big drop off here was the first part of the month where it actually created the quarterly low for the quarter, and then pushed higher to sort of settle in this consolidation range. So for traders, you do have opportunity at the top of this range to take shorts, at the bottom of the range to take longs. And as you can see here, price, let's zoom in a little bit to the 15-minute to get a better perspective. But price has essentially hit this previous imbalance that was sort of being protected, and it kind of crashed through it, and now it's starting to retrace back down to refill this big candle of imbalance here. You also have a bit of imbalance here, but again, once you start to get to the lower time frames, 15-minute, these don't matter as much, but price does like to come back to these areas to fill in before it pushes up higher. So before we expect any more real bullish activity, we could expect some more bearish activity just for the short term. All right. If we take a look at Ethereum, sort of in the same position. One thing about Ethereum's price rally after the dump is that it rallied a lot harder than Bitcoin, right? So ultimately, after the Ethereum dump, which was on the same day around December 4th, right, it pushed a lot higher than Bitcoin pushed. The pushback was much more aggressive, but then it ultimately settled back within this range here. And again, Ethereum sort of following the same pattern that Bitcoin is, bouncing off this lower level of liquidity, but not taking out these lows here, right? So that's a bit concerning, but bouncing off this level here to kind of move higher. But for the most part, everything is sideways, folks. Everything is sideways. And until we break these equal highs here, right, or these lows here, you can expect price to sort of sit within this range. All right, so that's what we're looking for first week of January, for a break out of this range, one way or the other. All right, let's take a look at some of the news here. As far as CoinMarketCap is concerned, not very many updates. Again, we can start to take a look at things that are happening. I like to open it up to maybe February, end of February. It's the 1st to February. Let's just encapsulate that amount of time. So the 1st to February 28th. Let's take a look at what's happening in the markets. And this doesn't always update, to the standards that you may like, but you do get an idea of some things that are coming up. So, again, go to CoinMarketCap, do your own research here, folks. This is ways to see what is coming up for January, February, March. As you can see, lots of things happening with coins that you may not have heard about before. So this is a good place for you to go get some information. All right. As far as major updates, let's see. There's one for TRDC. There's one for, what is this? Manifest AMA, TDRC again, TRDC again, and Stellar has an upcoming event. So it's good to refresh this. Come take a look from time to time to see what may be happening in the market. In the news, let's take a look here. Now, this is a very interesting article, in my opinion, right? Shiba Inu launches beta version of DAO to give users more authority over crypto projects. In my opinion, I think that Shiba Inu and Dogecoin are throwing on the boxing gloves at this point. There's a lot of people involved in Doge that want to see that materialize into something greater than it is. And there's a lot of people in Shiba Inu right now who are saying, we have the utility already. Come with us, right? And to be real, there's people in both armies. But I think that 2022 is going to be a proving ground for one or the other. One will lose steam, one will gain steam in 2022. They're right next to each other in market cap. You're going to see a separation soon, okay? And I think Shiba Inu, out of all of these other Shiba coins that were produced over the past year, they've come out on top, okay? So they are the main competitor to Doge. They come with utility, and they have a team behind them with the roadmap that wants to see this thing succeed. If Elon tweeting out about a Shiba dog can pump Shiba Inu too, the Doge team has a little bit to be worried about, to say the least. So very interesting to see how this is going to pan out for 2022. I will be watching with popcorn from the sidelines. Top 10, let's break them out. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Coin, Tether, Solana, Cardano, USD Coin, XRP, Terra Luna, and Polkadot are your top 10 coins. It's going to be interesting over 2022 is to see the relationship between these two, Cardano and Polkadot. Last year, there was a lot of discussion around which one would come out on top. And I think Cardano was able to break things into the market, or at least have a lot more attention paid to them than Polkadot was able to. But Polkadot does have an emerging ecosystem, and I do think that they will be a major competitor coming into 2022. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens between these two as well. Going into our cryptocurrency heat map, we can see that things are looking kind of up. All right. Earlier this morning, things were pretty neutral, but it seems like the market is starting to get some injection of cash here for the first day of the year, which is a good sign, right? Again, if we go to the crypto fear and greed index, we are seeing that most people are fearful, which gives Wells reason to buy. And as long as this stays sort of in this area here, from fear to extreme fear, you may have people accumulating, and watching that price go up relatively soon may be something that happens. And eventually that will swing this lever back to greed. And that's when we can expect things to start to fall even more aggressively than they have already. Taking a look at the Bitcoin futures, again, not very much of a change. The small caps, small speculators, folks like us, were net long. The large speculators are net short, and commercials are sitting right in the middle. What I'm really watching are the commercials. I want to see which way they start to push in February. Is it net long or is it net short? Because that's going to determine what starts to happen with some of these large speculators. Okay. If the commercials start to go net long, large speculators will go net short, and that will drop price. If commercials start to go net short, large speculators will convert to net long, right? Which means price should start to rise. But they are always playing opposed to what we're doing. So these three lines here have to have some sort of harmony with them in order for price to move one way or the other. As you can see, everything is squeezed into the middle right here, which is why we've been having these consolidations for pretty much the month of December, right? So once these lines start to break out, that's when you're going to start to really see more aggressive price action. So that's what we're looking for, going from January to February. Which brings us back to our chart, okay? And again, this is the Ethereum chart. Let me jump back to Bitcoin. A couple of big movers for the day. One is curved out, which is something I currently hold, and I think that this is trying to reach for that all-time high. It's getting there. It's working for it, right? Once it does reach the all-time high, I will probably take 80% of that bag off the table. Another one, Harmony One, Atom is another one that's jumping up today. And then for Harmony One, this is one that we talked about a couple of days ago, right? And again, I think Harmony One is definitely a project that people should check out. So let's get into the actual edge here. All right, so when we jump into this spreadsheet here, I've already showed you guys what some of these seasonal tendencies are doing, right? So I mapped all of this out for the entire history of the crypto for BTC, and ultimately I'm able to get a gauge of what may happen in January, February, March. This also breaks out and translates into the quarter. So we're expecting sort of a bearish quarter, right? And sort of a bearish month for January. But the past 2 years have been bullish, right? So I'm kind of in the middle in regards to what may happen, but I am thinking bearish, right? February, not so much. I'm looking for more of a rebound, and then March may get a little bit bearish for us as well. This typically tends to be a very bearish month in March. That will round out our quarter. April, May, June timeframe tends to be a bit more bullish. And if you follow this correctly, you guys could even take a screenshot of this if you want to. This is how I'm tracking price, right? This is the edge. If you know the tendencies from month to month, quarter to quarter, week to week, day to day, hour to hour even, you have an edge, right? Because other people aren't tracking this, so you have an edge over them. Now, this gets deeper. I would like to go to what I like to call my kill zone heat map. And again, I'm an ICT student, so that's where I get a lot of this terminology from. But essentially what you're eyeing for are the opens and closes of certain markets: Asia, London, New York. Now, what I did was I broke this out even greater into New York, Chicago open, the Asian session, the London close, right? I really do encapsulate every single important area of price action. And if you look at price, say between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. or 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. or maybe, 7 to 8 p.m., that's when you start to really see the movements in price. So what we're doing here is literally tracking hour to hour. And I know this seems crazy, but this is how you develop the edge. All edges come from information. If you're able to produce this information yourself, then you have a unique edge. And that's what we're doing here, right? So come along with me because you'll be getting this information too. So ultimately, what we have here is from hour to hour to hour, we track what happens with price. Eventually, we'll get to a point where we're able to draw out a tendency heat map. So I'll be able to tell you guys what normally happens between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., right? For the first 60 days of this month or this year, we're going to track this. So I'll be able to tell you, right, what happens between 7 and 9 a.m. for the most part, the New York Open, right? New York, Chicago Open. I'll be able to tell you what happens between the London Open, 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., right? And just having this information will make you a lot more dangerous in the market because you understand what markets may be trying to do. When you add in things like liquidity runs and imbalances into the market, and you add in what you're analyzing on charts with all of this stuff, it gets very, very, very powerful. Very powerful. So these are the things that we're developing here on this channel. I don't see anyone else doing this. I doubt they would do this even if they wanted to, okay? But this is the level that we're getting to as we start to analyze deeper to figure out where tendencies are, use that information to apply to what we're seeing on the charts to make good, probable trades, not shots in the dark. We are going to take this from a very practical perspective, top to bottom, as I showed you guys. The news matters, the charts matter, but beyond that, you need tendencies. Without tendencies, you're floating in the wind. If I know London typically buys between 2 and 3, I can play that. If I know that Asia typically dumps between 7 and 8 to 10 p.m. at night, I can play that, especially if these levels are near highs or lows in price. And so we'll cover all of this more in depth as we move forward. But again, I'm really here to show you guys the added value that we're going to bring. Again, I'm not shilling anything, right? I don't have indicators to sell you. I don't have a mentorship to sell you. If you wanted to get into a mentorship with me right now, I don't have a payment portal for you to go through. I don't have courses for you to study. I'm a guy that's brand new, for the most part, to YouTube, but I've been doing this for a while. And what I can do is show you guys how I take charts, analyze them, break them down, and then show you real examples of what I've made just through paper trading accounts, right? And this is the thing I don't get. For all of these guys who are out there saying that they're 100 for 100 on trades and all of this good, they're perfect. Start a paper trading account and just show us that you can do this. Doesn't cost you anything. Doesn't cost $1 out of your pocket. This is play money, right? Fake money. Show us you can do this, guys. That's what we're interested in seeing. So again, I'm going to probably go on a rant video eventually and talk about all of these different things that I think, all of these different trading gurus do wrong, right? And that they can do better for their audiences. I'm not saying that these guys are bad, right? Because they are calling levels and they are giving people plays. But if you're unable to show something as simple as a paper trading account on TradingView, which you're using anyway to display things to people, there's a problem, okay? You're scared to show folks this. We're not. And that's what we're here for, to give them the real experience of what this is like to do, okay? If you like this content, if you think this is something that you can subscribe to, go ahead and hit that button. Hit the bell notification. You will get notifications when we post these videos. All right, that's what we're looking at. We will be back later with more insight. Look forward to some educational videos on liquidity, imbalances, order blocks, things of that nature, kill zones. We will be bringing those as well, and that information will be free for you guys to dive into. Again, this is Maestro. This is the long and short. If you don't see these buttons and these arrows getting pushed, find yourself a good mentor so that you can really understand how to trade these crypto markets. That being said, we're out of here. Take care. Happy New Year.